under 120, you can see that the gamma curves flatten out. And what this is telling us that the hedging impact, the gamma hedging impact from the options flow starts to tail off sharply as we break under 120. Today's Tuesday, July 26th, and we are looking at Walmart, which is cratering after a poor earnings report last night. On your screen here, you can see we're currently trading around 120. We're about a half hour after the open here. Now, this 120 area is interesting, obviously, because we saw this level show up very quickly after the May earnings report, in which the stock gapped down after several days. There was a brief rally, a retest in June, and now we are obviously back to that 120 handle. Now, what's interesting about this 120 level is there's a lot of synergies with the options market as functioning as a support or exhaustion level to the downside. And for that, we want to turn to our equity hub. So this is our equity hub. You can look at thousands of different stocks and see the most up-to-date options positions. So we believe that the more gamma that is in a stock, the more volatility there could be in a stock. And that is represented by these two curves that you can see. And the more vertical the lines are, the more vertical these two curves are, the more volatility in theory is in the stock as a result of options hedging flows. Now, what you may notice here is that these lines tail off both to the upside and to the downside. In fact, if we were sort of estimate where these tail off, would be just under this 120 level and kind of just over this 140 level. And so what we think is that there is large options-induced volatility or directional options hedging impact in Walmart between these two posts. But what happens is when we get under 120, you can see that the gamma curves flatten out. And what this is telling us is that our model believes that the hedging impact, the gamma hedging impact from the options flow starts to tail off sharply as we break under 120. So in theory, what's happening here is that if puts go deep in the money or calls lose their value, the hedging flow tied to those positions starts to become less of a factor in the volatility in Walmart. Now, in turn, if the stock can get back over this 120 level, you can see that the volatility would pick up. And if the stock is going to rally, that means put positions, which are obviously fairly deep in the money given the 10% drawdown, those puts would start to lose value, and that could help invoke some positive delta buying from dealers, right? And that can push the stock back up into the 125 to 130 area. Again, this synergy here, where this gamma tails off and volatility should decline, it is so interesting to us given the fact that the stock seems to find a lot of support in this 120 area. Now, we think one of the best ways to confirm that this positive option setup is taking place is through our hero tool. And what the hero tool does is it monitors the real-time options flow in Walmart and over 100 other stocks. Now on your screen is black. That is the Walmart stock price, and that is plotted against this purple line, which is the real-time options deltas traded for Walmart. So every time someone buys a call or put, we monitor that, and we estimate how much dealer hedging is tied to that flow. So in this case, what you're seeing is the stock is going lower, and that purple line is going lower. And that is telling us that traders are buying puts or selling calls, and that may lead dealers to have to short stock. Now, if this purple line can turn up and generate a positive delta figure, that would suggest that dealers need to now start buying back Walmart shares. And that is a positive or a bullish sign for Walmart. So again, when we combine these, we believe that this 120 area is important from an options perspective. It appears to have, again, this technical analysis would suggest that this 120 area has been important lately. And then what we want to see, kind of the third leg of the stool, so to speak, is the fact that these positive deltas need to come into the name. If positive deltas don't come in, that tells us that people are continuing to buy puts and sell calls, and that's likely to keep Walmart under some pressure. So it's still very early in the day here. We're only a half hour after the open. We're going to keep an eye on these heroes, and if this can turn up, we think that there may be a short-term bottom in Walmart shares.